Hello and welcome to Top Hat Chat live with me, Street and ORB. Today on the channel we are going to be discussing kind of MOBAs. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, multiplayer online battle arenas.
Yeah, and whether or not they are indeed terrible. So I don't really know how to start with this. I mean, there's lots of things that we need to consider when talking about MOBAs. I suppose in the thumbnail there is two of which we can choose from, and that's League of Legends and Dota.
Yeah, Dota 2.
Dota 2 is... They're the two big ones that we need to be concerned about because they're taking over, and they have been for a while.
Yeah, it's been a long process. I remember coming across them sort of, 8 years ago or so? 9 years ago. And they just took a lot of my friends by storm.
Yeah.
Like, it just took them away. They were gone. They had smeagoled up and hidden away and was levelling like bosses.
Yeah, see, it reminds me very much of the whole era of World of Warcraft. If anybody that doesn't know, I mean, everybody should know this by now, but MOBAs are essentially what they're called. You control a character, generally in a team, and your idea is to take a control point. That's essentially it, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Usually in third person, but there are some others, such as Overwatch, that we're kind of try and get into a bit later, which is done in first person, but this is kind of the general ones. So League of Legends and Dota are the two main ones, and if you go on to Twitch right now, where we will be streaming later at twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat, you will probably see that those two games are really, really high on the most viewed list.
They're usually at least rocking around between... They never dropped below 4.
Yeah.
I would say fourth in the world as the most viewed at any one point.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous because I don't really know anybody that enjoys them.
It's weird. Like I said, it got a lot of my friends back in the day, and some of them play for a long time. Some of them still do, in fact, play. And what's interesting about it is they're just so into it, and they're so... what would you call it? Dedicated to the game that they just plough hours and hours and hours into it, and they really and it's really like the biggest.
Sorry, I've just had a delivery. If anybody heard that noise, which you would have done, shout hi. No, she's not going to. Of an egg mayonnaise sandwich. So, thanks for that. Cheers. Sorry, that's live for you. Anyway, So, where were we?
I'm sorry, you completely threw my train of thought.
Egg mayonnaise is that thing.
It took up so much of their time, and despite the sheer number of hours that they ploughed into it, it never seemed like they were actually enjoying themselves, almost at all. They would occasionally regale you with an awesome League of Legends tale about something that they'd done in a game, which all sounded the same.
Yeah,
but it just, for the most part, it was, it really sucked. I had some proper arse hat as one of my teammates, and it's just like, why are you playing a game that makes you so miserable constantly?
It's kind of like the game equivalent of heroin. It destroys lives, but people can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need like safe MOBA sites for people to sit and safely inject their game to stop them from wasting away and dying.
Well, that's what they've got. They've got the shooting gallery. It's there.
Yeah. They're a weird concept. I mean, I remember people locking themselves away at World of Warcraft. I kind of understand that. Especially new players. New players getting into World of Warcraft, it's magic. I can really understand why people get hooked on it. New players coming into Dota and League of Legends, the learning curve is so high. And to even get a viable character that you can use in any sense, you're looking at ploughing some serious time.
Oh, it's a massive investment.
I mean, you're looking at completing Persona 5 levels of time.
If not more.
Just to get a viable character that you can actually use.
Of which there's 100 plus, by the way.
Ish.
Yeah, but it's not an insignificant amount.
But again, people say there's 100 plus characters. There's not. There's not 100 plus characters. There's 5 main character types that you can choose from. So, yes, there's one character for every player on your team. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you got your 5 roles essentially
Yeah.
that you play, and they all play pretty much. They all follow a very specific pattern of play that you do
Yeah.
in almost every battle that you have.
Yeah.
So
I
it is
mean-
quite limited.
It's good that people can know their role.
Shut their mouth.
But they need to shut their mouth and stop going on about League of Legends.
Well, they just, in my opinion, it's just crazy. Like the sheer amount of time that you plough into it to get anywhere half decent, you could have ploughed into like so many other
Yeah.
games. And I don't know, it's the big argument almost about multiplayer versus single player experiences in a way. Like a lot of the games that you said you could have played are in fact single player, mainly games. And a lot of people prefer multiplayer games. And I understand that. But one of my main issues with like with Dota and with League of Legends is the games are all the same. And yes, I understand, like you could say that about a lot of things, FIFA.
Yeah.
You could say that about COD. You could, right? I don't necessarily agree with it to the degree that you could say that it's the same. If you know what I mean. But like,
You can't, because again, like entry level with those games, you can play the game. And you can play it well and to a standard. You don't have to plough 100 hours into the game. Yeah, you might have to plough 100 hours into the game to get good, but not to get a viable character. Your character's good pretty quickly. And you can be competitive pretty quickly without having that problem. Without running into that, oh man, I've only spent 100 hours this week on my character. That means that I can't play with my friends at the weekend because we've changed what we're going to do. And it's just ridiculous. And again, people are lapping this up. I've got no idea. Quick shout out to Sebastian V, who has just given a super chat and donated $1.99 to this channel. His super chat says, I don't know what this is, but it's free on my end. I don't get lots of things that are free on my end, but yeah.
amazing.
But we're not going to go there. This is YouTube. But thank you so much for the donation. That's awesome of you. So I don't know. I mean, Overwatch. Overwatch is a big one. And Overwatch I'm going to talk about because it's slightly easier to get into that game than a lot of the others that we've spoken about so far. And that's part of the charm of Overwatch. But it still has the same kind of issues. And a lot of the time when you're playing it, it's hyper competitive. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, do you want to sit back and play a game and relax for a little while? Or do you literally want to get as high up the rankings as humanly possible? Most people want a bit of both. There doesn't seem to be any fun in it.
No, that's another thing I've noticed. Again, it's like I said about my friends. They played so much of the game that you almost believe without them saying, oh, they must really love this game.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of the time they play it, it does not look like they enjoy themselves. It's a really weird trade-off to have when a computer game... It's hard to defend computer games a lot of the time when like sensible adulty people come up to you and go, isn't that just a huge waste of time? And you're like, no. And then they go, well, and then they break it down. And you're just like, well, if you look at it like that, possibly, but I think it's similar to that.
Yeah. I've tried to get into these games and I cannot find the enjoyment. I've tried watching them because I spend a lot of my time on Twitch watching people play games. And the only thing that I can explain, like for example, you got stuff like Counter-Strike as well, which gets very big in waves.
Yeah.
Generally when there's a tournament on. And is it just that the rise of esports is taking over? Because esports has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger over the past 5 years?
It has.
And is it just that people want to see people that are the best at the game, and that's why it's so high up on the lists on Twitch? That there's these competitions that run, and people are just like, I want to see who's best at this, whether they're playing the game or not. I mean, a lot of the people that watch us are interested in the game.
Yeah.
And, they're like, oh, the game's pretty cool. Maybe they just want to see people be good at stuff.
Well, there's definitely an argument for it, and I guess that's what sort of breeds the support that you see in a lot of speedrunners and a lot of, like you say, the competitive esports scene. They do want to see the best in the world play a game that you know is hard to master
Yeah.
and possess real skill at. It's not for me. That's not really what I've... to me, right? I liken it to skateboarding.
Okay. You like watching people skateboard?
I like watching people skateboard. I love skateboarding. I was never much of a skateboarder. I could ollie back in the day.
Yeah.
But I love skateboarding. I love the people involved in skateboarding. I love the whole culture. But you have things like the Street League, League system, and things like the X Games.
Yeah.
And now the Olympics, where you're turning it into a sport, a competitive expression, like, you know, a competition. And it's like, that's not what skateboarding's really about. Skateboarding's about expressing yourself and having fun with your friends and just doing cool stuff and gnarly tricks. And that's games. Games is about sitting there, enjoying yourself, playing games, having fun. Like, having an experience with that game. Not necessarily putting a dollar amount on how good you are.
Yeah.
And then playing to win it. It's cool that exists, and that's good for people that enjoy it. But to me, it kind of takes away from what, in my opinion, the essence of games are.
Yeah. When it becomes hyper-competitive like that, I lose interest. It's why sometimes I find it quite difficult to hang around with Top Hat. Because he can get hyper-competitive when he plays. Like, really competitive. And he doesn't like losing very much. And I remember I smashed him on Burger Time once. The first time I'd ever played the game. And he was really annoyed. Mm-hmm. Like, really annoyed. And I think that I lose some of that. I don't get that competitiveness.
Yeah.
Which is probably another reason why I didn't really get into Fortnite as well. Because Fortnite's hyper-competitive. And I just never really got into it. I don't think it's the game. The game was probably, if I'm being really honest, relatively solid. Mm-hmm. And was quite different. And would usually be something that I'd go towards. But that hyper-competitive edge just turned me straight off of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what's happened with League of Legends and Dota, because again, they're the other types of games. The other types of games they remind me of are the old kind of like Age of Empires style games, like the real-time strategy stuff.
That was genuinely different every game you played.
Yeah, but it reminds me very much of that. As far as there's an objective, you've got kind of a team and you've got different roles. I mean, yeah, you're only controlling one of those, but...
Right, but...
It reminds me of that, and I don't...
That style of competitive is fun. We used to play LAN parties of Age of Empires 2 around my friends when we were late teens. Yeah. And it'd be 5-a-side, like 10 game, one in one room, one set in one room, the other in another. Yeah. And we wouldn't talk to each other, and we'd have a little half-time break, and we'd meet down in the kitchen, have a cup of tea and talk about it. And, you know, you don't know what's coming, or that was a good move with that, but did you like my defence here, and stuff like that, and then you go off and finish your game. That was great. That's the sort of competition in games that I love, because that's just cool. You're not vying for a dollar prize. Yeah. Once you start vying for money and proper rank and proper recognised, like, fame, to whatever degree, you know, fame as a general term, not just, like, being famous, it becomes a different beast. You become a different beast because you're trying to achieve something else there. That's not the same as having it's like playing a game of football with your friends. You're not... Yeah, of course you want to win, but come on, it's not... Yeah. It's not the FA Cup final. It's not the World Cup final. It might feel like it at points when you're a kid and playing, but it's not. And when you're doing those sorts of activities for money, it's a different thing. It's a different outlook that you have.
So are we saying that anybody that plays these games is clearly a loser with too much time on their hands and really has nothing better to do? Is that what we're saying?
I don't know.
I feel like that's the way that I'm going, because again, the amount of times you must have zero life to be able to play them.
Games like League of Legends and stuff, yeah, I understand.
I mean, I have no life, but
you could
I do that with good games.
But you could say the same for MMOs.
Yeah, I think they're comparable.
Yeah?
Just one of them is actually fun and the other one isn't.
I sunk hundreds of hours into Guild Wars 2. I don't feel it was wasted.
Were you defecating into buckets?
No.
That's good. You weren't at that level. And screaming to get food?
No.
No?
No.
No.
Not, we didn't have Mama Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have that.
Yeah, that's exactly how you radioed up to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that level.
No, I'd have been told where to get off if I'd have tried to pull things like that.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things that just perplexes me because I can't understand why it's so popular. The game itself is basic. There's not a massive amount to it unless you're really good. And when you're really good, I don't know. I don't know. It just confuses me.
Yeah, it is a little confusing. Mm. I mean, they really aren't my favourite bag of tricks, MOBAs and hyper competitive games like that. And I found out a lot. The last time I was really in that hyper competitive place was Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I got quite competitive at that. That's fair enough. Yeah,
and that was fun as all hell.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I wasn't competitive in the sake that I need to prestige. I need to be number one in the world. Because I was very, very much aware I am definitely nowhere near the best in the world.
Yeah.
And I prestiged 2 or 3 times.
See, I didn't bother. I thought I keep my weapon sets, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it did, like, on the 3rd time when you do it, you are like, what?
Why am I doing this
point?
again?
Yeah, what is the point?
Yeah, but that's how I feel like a lot of these games are. You just get that whole, when you're actually playing them, it's like, what is the point? And I genuinely think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. But again, it's something that you could argue for a lot of games.
Yeah.
You know, it's dangerous to go down that route of criticism.
Maybe I'm just far too biased.
Could be. When was the last time you tried to play a MOBA?
It would have been Overwatch.
What about an MMO?
MMO a long time ago. Like vanilla World of Warcraft.
Vanilla World of Warcraft?
Yeah, it was that long ago.
Damn.
I couldn't stick with it. It was just too time consuming.
Damn.
Too time consuming. I was much more into going out and getting drunk. So yeah, that's just what I was doing at the time. Did I miss out on anything?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I think you covered the base pretty well there.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so the conclusion that we've come to is that going out and getting drunk and going to parties and fulfilling your life is considerably better than League of Legends and Dota.
Well, yeah, I think that's a given, but I think we should also say that maybe within the sphere of gaming, there are perhaps, certainly in my opinion, better ways to express yourself and consume your time than playing something that is so repetitive and mind-numbing. Like, it gives gaming a bad name. Yeah. Maybe we should celebrate the single-player experiences more.
Yeah. And if anybody that's watching this is currently trying to get into these games and is thinking, oh, I need more time, go to the pub.
Or spend your time watching our channel.
Yeah, that's also a good way of spending time.
And Twitch streams. I think that would be a much better use of your time.
Yeah, over at Twitch. Twitch.tv/TopHatChat, where we are every Saturday at 9 p.m. And we're now doing more midweek streams. Mm-hmm. We are currently about to go over to Twitch at twitch.tv/TopHatChat. I'm really getting this out there.
You are.
Is it smooth?
It's smooth.
Okay. Well, we're going to go over and continue our playthrough of South Park: The Fractured But Whole, because we think this is an appropriate time to do it. Quite laid back, quite chill. Yeah, if you haven't got an account already, open one up. It takes about 30 seconds, and you can watch us in all of our glory. And the game's great. Like it's honestly great if you haven't seen it. So yeah, that's what we're going over to now. Do you want to do some bits?
Yes, so you can find us on all the usual social media places except Facebook. Yeah. So we are at twitch.tv/TopHatChat. We are at youtube.com/c/TopHatChat, which you should know because you're on it right now. You can find me and Street at our names that you see on the bottom here on Twitter. We are also on Instagram. Just search for Top Hat Chat. You'll find us there. And drop us a message in our Discord as well, which is advertised inside the chats for our streams. So if you need to check us out if you want to get in there. It's definitely worthwhile. Yeah, that's Top Hat Game Man's Discord that we have a subsection on. So yeah, if you want to get involved in that, come over, find us at Twitch, and you can be involved. So thank you for watching this Top Hat Chat mini, I suppose. Yeah. Just talking about a topic that
has annoyed us this week in conversation. We will see you next time. The next time will probably be Saturday.
Saturday, yeah, certainly.
Yep.
We'll be joined by the Evil Yeti, and we will be playing the remake of Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, so thank you for being here, thank you for enjoying, and we're about to head over there now, so see you there.